Yo, how's it going, everyone? We're back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a remix in the style of RetroVision. Now, if you don't know who RetroVision is, he's actually such a cool producer, makes really unique music, one of my favorite producers, but I highly suggest you go look him up on YouTube because he's awesome. But in my opinion, he makes really great remixes that are super unique and full of energy, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Also, want to say, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe, helps the channel out. And there's going to be more videos coming up soon on this channel. But anyways, let's get right into it. Alright, so we're here in FL Studio, and obviously when you want to make a remix, you gotta pick a song to remix. I'll play the acapella for you here.
I know that you like me, and it's kind of frightening, standing here waiting.
But basically, you're going to want to find the acapella of the song you want to remix. Usually you can find them on YouTube if you do some digging. And they don't have to be perfectly clean. They could be a little messy, as you hear in this one. It's a little muddy, but we can get some of that out with EQing and some effects. So on here, once you get your acapella, you're going to want to clear up some of the low end with a EQ. That way things aren't messing up the mix. And just for effects on the acapella here, I just have some reverb, some delay, and the EQ to get rid of the low ends. I also have a limiter on here for compression and limiting. This is what the acapella sounds like when it's wet with all the effects.
Know that you like me, and it's kind of frightening, standing here waiting.
Alright, now that we got our acapella all figured out, we're going to want to put some instrumentals behind it. So personally, what I like doing is going online and figuring out what the chords of the original song is. That way it's a little bit easier to build an idea off of it. Because personally, I hate writing chords. I suck. But anyways, yeah, so you can just go online, find the chords, usually like Chordify or something like that. Or you can just write new chords that are fit the key, whatever you want to do. So I have these chords here that are from the original song, and I'll play those for you. So with remixes, I like to start out with the acapella and some chords, and from there I just like to add different instruments and synths to build up layers. In this case right here, I have a piano with a vital on it and another vital on it, and I'll play those for you right now. And like keeping in the style of RetroVision, I added those like pumping chords in the back, so it gives it more rhythm and just keeps the energy up. You're also going to want to add a bass that is keeping in that pumping rhythm to keep the energy up. And for this bass here, it's just a simple serum preset. And now with the acapella, the bass line and the chords is what we got.
Oh, that you like me, and it's kind of frightening, standing here waiting.
Now that does sound good, but we want to fill it up a little bit more. So what we're going to do is add in a ARP. Now I have this one here that I made. And this here is just a simple vital preset. And I put quite a bit of effects on this one. This is what it sounds like without the effects. And this is with the effects. Also here we added a few effects like some vinyl crackle. And along with some sweeps and exhausts. And here as well we have a drone in the key of the song. That way to also fill up the mix a little bit. And I also have this kind of weird effect going on here. And now all together, this is what it sounds like.
Oh, that you like me, and it's kind of frightening, standing here waiting.
Now in the second half of this little intro here, I'm going to add some snaps. That way we keep the energy, and like I said, because in the style of RetroVision that I was aiming for, usually things pick up quite quickly and he keeps that energy going. So I got these snaps here. And I added quite a bit of reverb on them. And the reason for these EQs here on the snaps and claps is because it takes out some of the low end that you can't hear. But over time, if you have a lot of things layered up with low end that you can't hear, it'll add up. So it will create mud in the mix. And just doing this little simple trick will keep your mix all clean. But as far as the intro goes, that's pretty much it. I'll play that for you guys right now.
And I became hypnotized by freckles and bright eyes, tongue-tied, but now.
And then here in general, not just for remixes, obviously, transitioning between the intro and the break, I have some sweeps right here. that are going to help transition, and then some down sweeps into the break. But yeah, let's get into that. So for the break, we still have our chords, the regular bass, the ARP, all the snaps and claps, and we have the drone, downlifters, and whatnot. But the things that we added here is going to be a sub bass to bring more sub into the song, obviously, to keep the energy, like, keep rising. Also, we add some top loops. So first, we'll start off with a sub bass. And this here is just a simple serum preset. And make sure, guys, that you're always putting your sub bass into mono right here. Drag this little slider to the right so it's in the purple. It means you're in mono. But as far as the top loops go, I'm going to play those for you right now. And so with these top loops, plus I added some claps here to give more impact on these snaps as well, and claps. Also here in the break, I used a riser. That way we can transition to the buildups more smoothly. Also here I have another riser that we made from effects and serum. And just before the buildup, we're going to have a little bit of a transition here with the fill. And as far as the break goes, it's pretty simple. You just add a few more elements to keep the energy going, keep the mix full. You're going to be solid. Anyways, let's play the break real quick.
But now, you're so far away and I'm down, feeling like a face in the crowd.
So for the build-up here, once again, we're keeping things a little simple. We still have the res bass, the sub, the chords, and the ARP. And then here I just cut down on the claps and snaps from the break and kept the ones in the intro here so they keep going. And then obviously you want to add your build-up drums here, so I have some loops. And of course, like any good build-up, you want to add some risers and some white noise. And like I said, with the RetroVision style, we're going to keep the energy going. So even here in the build-up, I still had this top loop playing in the background. And to keep the mix full, we still have little sounds that are playing like this in the background. And here on the build-up, I have the Endless Smile plugin. If you don't know what this does, it just one simple knob makes everything get filtered down and puts reverb on it. That way, in the build-up, it sounds kind of thin. And then when your drop hits, it sounds bigger because you turn off the Endless Smile. And of course, right before the drop, you're going to have the fill. So for this, I kept the vocal playing with the hook of the song pretty much. And here, actually, I added a down pitch version using the plugin manipulator. And if you want on this, you can just turn down your pitch on the vocal. But for in this case, I used the manipulator plugin, messed around with the formant and the pitch just to make it sound a little bit cooler. So together, this is what the vocal sounds like. And then just here, we have some effects. And all together, this is what the fill before the drop sounds like. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the build-up. Just the simple effects, risers, build-up drums, and just your instrumentals. And now we can move on to the best part, the drop. So, like I keep saying, this is obviously in the style of RetroVision, very heavily inspired. So we're going to keep it very chord heavy in this case. You know, he does have a lot of different things that he does, but in this scenario, I kept it more with the chords and a faster melody. So right here, I have the chords for the drop. I'll play those out for you. And so for here, for the MIDI, it's just basically the same chords as the beginning, just a little chopped up, obviously. And we have these little things in between that gives it more of that RetroVision vibe. And for the chords here, like I said, we're keeping things simple. So we all have silent presets, and they're all pretty much super sauce. And I can play a few of them individually for you. As far as effects goes on these, all I did was EQ them a little bit, cut down most of the low end, boosted some of the mids. And for these chords here, I actually have them all bussed to this channel right here. Number 32. Now, if you don't know how to bus things to each other, and what I mean by bus is take separate audio clips like, let's say, 110, 111, and connect them to 112, I can teach you right now. So all you do in FL Studio is you want to highlight the ones you want to bus. So we're going to do 110, 111, 112. I'm just doing that by holding shift and control. Now let's say we want to link 110 and 111 to 112. All I do is going to right click on here. We're going to go track routing and route selected to this track only. And now any frequencies that play through 110 and 111 are going to go through 112, and 112 is going to be directed right to the master. Well, like I said, we have some pretty simple effects on here. We get some OTT, sound goodizer, some reverb for automations, the filter for automation as well, kickstart for the sidechain, and some more EQ here to cut the lows. Now here, like I said, with the automation on the reverbs, this is what it's going to sound like. And this just helps fill up the space a little bit more in those silent sections. And as far as the chords go, that's pretty much it. Now we're going to get on to the bass. Now, one of the things I love about RetroVision is his basses. They're super gritty and just awesome to listen to. So here are some of the bass sounds. And then for this one down here, I got a little special on it. It keeps the same kind of MIDI as the chords with the do-do-do, that part. Because on a lot of RetroVision songs, he has this bass underneath that does the fast patterns as well. And keeping on track with the bass, we have the sub here. And for the sub, we just have EQ to cut down some of the high frequencies that were colliding with things. And we have our kickstart on there with the sidechain. Almost forgot to tell you about the bass effects here. We just have OTT, filter. The filter's there just for automations. And we have the EQ to cut down some of the sub frequencies because you don't want them colliding with the actual sub bass. And of course, we have our kickstart on there for sidechain. Altogether, this is what the bass sounds like. Alright, and as far as the other instruments go on here, this is the only one left. It's just kind of like a lead sound. And this one just consists of 3 presets, keeping it simple. And on here, I just busted to one channel with some OTT, filter, EQ, and the kickstart for sidechaining. Together, this is what all the instruments sound like. And here, as you notice, I do have this little bass that plays, because it does fill up kind of the silent sections like I was talking about earlier with this reverb, but in here, instead we have a bass. Also, to fill up the mix a little bit more in the empty spots, we have this ARP here. And this one here is just 2 presets. And I just made this simple ARP here to fill up some of the silent parts. As far as the drum and effects go, they're not complicated too much. It's just a simple kick and some claps. Along with some downlifters. And I have them panned here with an automation to keep them out of the center so they're going back and forth left and right, and that gives more room in the mix. Also here for effects, we have some white noise. And this is playing along with the pattern of our chords to keep them full and full of energy. And now here for kind of the main part of this remix, since it is a remix after all, we're incorporating some parts of the acapella in the original song into our drop, and that's what's going to keep it kind of fun and unique. And a lot of times RetroVision does this as well. And so I did this by adding some kind of vocal chops. It's not really, it's just part of the song. So in part of the song, it sounds like this. And I layered it with this vocal here, and this vocal right here is just full with Camel Crusher and Manipulator to fill it out more. And together with the other vocal, it sounds like this. But that's pretty much it for the drop. Otherwise, in the second part here, we just have some drum loops. And then here between the transition for the first half of the drop and the second half, we just have a simple transition here with the drums. And of course, some effects. And here we have a reverse of the chords that simply transitions us more smoothly. But as far as the drop goes, that's pretty much it. Alright guys, with everything put together, let's listen to the final result.
I know that you like me, and it's kind of frightening. Standing here waiting, and I became hypnotized surprised by freckles and bright eyes, tongue-tied. But now you're so far away and I'm down, feeling like a face in the crowd. I'm reaching for you, terrified, 'cause you could be the one that I love. I could be the one that you dream of. A message in a bottle is all I can do. Standing here hoping to get to you. To you.
Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be back here on YouTube more frequently now that we got things set up. And I'd really love for you guys to subscribe and stick around because there's going to be more coming. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you like the video. It helps the channel out and you're going to be supporting me, so thank you very much. But yeah, hopefully you learned a little something from this video. But hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.
To you.